been a pretty crazy year, I think you'd agree. One thing that stood out to me this year is how everything seems to have changed, but strangely, nothing seems to have changed at all. Let me explain what I mean. This year I feel like I've barely left my house. I've missed out on things that I would normally do, whether going to work or seeing friends or going to events, things that would normally allow me to see people and catch up with them and journey some of my life with them, but it hasn't happened the same. But time has still gone on and life has actually still happened. And for you, it might be over the last year, you might have left school, missed out on camps and festivals that you'd normally like to go to, like Limitless Festival. We haven't seen friends and family who live far away. I wonder what it'll be like when we can see each other again. I know when I was younger, I went to school with my friend, Richard. He was always this shy lad, very energetic, but he lacked confidence and would often follow the crowd. And I caught up with him at the beginning of the year, and it was interesting how different he seemed from when we were in school. And it was because of the confidence he'd gained. He joined some different clubs, was looking for a promotion in work, and was really confident doing it. And over time, he changed. And you may experience something similar, like friends changing the way they dress or the music they listen to. The quiet guy in class now speaks to everybody, or the idiot in your class has become really nice. And it can be great when this happens and maybe a little strange at the same time. But we know it, don't we, that people change? Well, people do change and we believe this, and that is until we don't. And here's what I mean. When it comes to the bad qualities, we never believe someone can change. Like that teacher's always going to be angry, or your sister is always going to be messy, or your brother is always going to be annoying. When it comes to those things, we don't think people will ever change. And we can think the same way about ourselves too. Maybe it's an addiction or a habit you can't get rid of. It's something you know, or at least you think you shouldn't be doing, but you don't feel like you could ever stop. Maybe you tried to stop and it was working for a while, but then you did it again. You had that moment where you thought, what's even the point in trying to stop? Maybe it's a situational thing. You have people who just really frustrate you and annoy you, and you don't want to lose your temper, but you just struggle to contain it yourself. Or you become really jealous of someone and you wish you felt differently, but you find it hard and you ask yourself, is this ever going to change? Maybe it's a label. People see you in a certain way and you don't think you'll ever be able to change the way people see you. I think if any of us had that opportunity, that one magic wish to change one thing about ourselves, we'd all find something to change, but we don't. So sometimes we just feel powerless when it comes to things about us. We can feel like this because there aren't things that we can change. We can't change where we were born, or our parents, or the piece of homework you were handed last week. We can't change our age or our eye colour or our hair colour. So when you already have some things that you can't control, it's difficult to think that you can change the things that you struggle with. You probably end up saying things like, it is what it is, or I am who I am. And this idea that things will never change. But I'd like us one last time to think about Zacchaeus. Over the past month, we've been thinking about this guy, Zacchaeus. We've learned that he wasn't the nicest of guys. In fact, he had a really bad reputation. But despite all this, Jesus shocked everyone when he went to Zacchaeus' house for dinner. All the people saw this and began to mutter, he's gone to be the guest of a sinner. And this was nuts. Jesus went round for dinner. Like, pull up that dream guest party list, like the people who are dead or alive. And I think Jesus would be on lots of people's lists. And that's now, at this time, like Jesus had people following him, wanting to spend time with him. Yet Jesus chose to go to Zacchaeus' house. And this makes no sense. It's a little bit like Kanye West going to your grandma's for afternoon tea. Like, it was that strange. And like, what kind of conversation would Kanye and your grandma have? I don't know, and I don't want to really imagine it, but it's similar here with Zacchaeus, the tax collector, the cheat, the liar, the outcast, the traitor. Jesus chose to go to his house for dinner. This is the best part of the story for me, just how Zacchaeus responds in Luke chapter 9 verse 8. It says, "But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, 'Look, Lord, here now I give half my possessions to the poor, and if I've cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount.'" Zacchaeus looked to make good on all the bad. He wants to repay everyone. In this moment, Zacchaeus changed. And as we look at his actions, it reflects something that happened within his heart. Jesus chose to have dinner at Zacchaeus' house because Zacchaeus saw who he could be. When someone believes you can be different to how you are right now, it changes something. When someone sees your potential and not just your mistakes, it helps you believe that change is possible. And this is what Jesus did for Zacchaeus. And he sees the potential in you too. Think of it this way: Jesus is God, and he came to earth as a man to show what God is really like. And in this interaction, we see how God accepts us where we are with our struggles and sees who we can become. Think of it this way: it's personal because Jesus knows your potential. The story hasn't finished there. Check out what happens next. Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and save the lost." I just love that line. Today salvation has come to this house. The day radical change came to the life of Zacchaeus. And why? Because Jesus walked right up to him and treated him like he had the potential to be different from what everyone else had been saying. And that's what Jesus does. He pursues people and offers help and strength so they can change. And because of Jesus, anyone can radically change. In the areas of life where you and I want to be different, we can start by looking to Jesus. Years after Jesus walked the earth, the Apostle Paul said it this way: "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old is gone and the new is here." That we are new creations is found in Christ. In other words, change happens through the work of Jesus. And we can try to muster up everything in our own strength and make the difference ourselves, but why when we can rely on Jesus? Why not partner with Jesus to make the changes? He sees the potential in us, and he is more powerful than we are. Zacchaeus didn't force himself to change. He had an encounter with Jesus, and it became personal when he realized that Jesus saw the potential in him. And Jesus saw that he could be different than he had always been. So what does this mean for us? I think it means we need to do 2 things. 1, believe that we can change. It's a scientific fact that if you believe you can change, you actually have a way better chance of actually changing. And with Jesus, we know he has the power to change us. And with him, we can break that old habit that we have, or the anger, or we can fix that relationship. It may mean that you have to take the first step, whether it's praying about it or making a phone call or setting an alarm. This week, take that first step. The second, believe that others can change too. And if we can believe that others can change and we can change, I would sit there and go, let's do that. I remember being in university and seeing this guy who was dressed all in black and he had some piercings, and I remember God saying and giving this impression to me is, I love him too. And we have this story of Zacchaeus, and where everyone was shocked when Jesus went round to his tea, because he goes, I see the potential in him too. And we might have people who we think can never change, but know that God can change him too. And maybe you just need to cheer them on this week. It's easy to assume you can't change and neither can anyone else. But that's what they said about Zacchaeus. And he became a totally different person. A person that no one ever thought he would be. But it started because Jesus treated them differently. And maybe we can begin to see the potential in ourselves and in others that God can see. And we can partner with God to see that become a reality. Because we know that nothing is impossible for God.